welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mack, and tonight our Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Philadelphia 76ers for the second time this year. Now, in the first matchup, it was one hell of a game, to be honest. The Cavs were without the services of three rotation caliber players in Donovan Mitchell, Caris LeVert, and Isaac Okoro. And yes, I realize saying rotation caliber players, that just completely undersells the impact of these guys, especially Donovan Mitchell. The starters did most of the heavy lifting, with Darius Garland, Mack, Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett combining for 96 of the team's 122 total points. But honestly, the impact performer of that game was probably Craig Porter Jr., who gave Cleveland a huge boost off the bench as he went toe-to-toe with the 76ers. His playmaking and aggressiveness when driving the basketball were absolutely key to the Cavs walking away victorious in that one. He made two of the biggest plays of the game, both coming in overtime. First, Porter Jr. drove the baseline and scored over Joel Embiid to give Cleveland a 2-point lead with less than 54.3 seconds to play. Now, after Philly retaliated with the Tobias Harris triple, CPJ drove into the teeth of the defense and found Jarrett for a floater over Embiid, giving the Cavs the lead once more. They would hold on to win, and in the process, they would also hand Philly a loss in the in-season tournament. Now tonight, Cleveland will enter the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse with a clean bill of health. Yes, I know Ty Jerome isn't healthy. Sue me. I don't count him anymore. Since Darius Garland and Evan Mobley have returned, the five-man unit of Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, and Allen has been pretty damn productive for the most part. They have a plus-minus of 2.8 and we're completing 54.5% of their field goals, including 40.5% from three-point distance prior to tonight's game. They are clearly still trying to sort a few things out, which is normal. It's expected, right? But boy, am I happy to finally be healthy again. Now, Philly, on the other hand, they are not so lucky at the moment. They entered the game without Joel Embiid, who we all know is an MVP caliber talent when healthy, DeAnthony Melton, Robert Covington, and a couple more. They are a capable team despite that, though, as they still have one of the game's brightest young stars in Tyrese Maxey, a really solid scorer in Kelly Oubre, a pretty solid backup five in Paul Reed, and of course, it also helps that they recently acquired Buddy Hield, who helped Philly to a 34-33 lead with 10 first-quarter points by himself. They opened the second quarter on a 9-0 run, pulling ahead 42-33 before Cleveland finally got on the board with a Caris LeVert layup. Then one of the most exciting plays of the entire game came when Evan Mobley drilled yet another triple.
First quarter, however, he did dish out a team-high 5 assists. Mobley eyes the target and drills a three.
Nice job by Evan Mobley.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man is now 9 of 23 from three-point distance on this season. That is 39.1%. He's becoming more and more confident pulling up that shot. It was 2 attempts tonight. He took 2 attempts tonight, and I've been saying this, as long as if he starts taking like 3 or 4 a game, he's going to become a real threat. Defenses will not be able to completely ignore him the way that they have in seasons past. I really believe that this is an area of his game that is truly starting to progress and develop. And as long as he is taking that shot when it's afforded to him, I feel confident in that. It feels good to finally see him do so. The Cavs would enter halftime down 62-66 and would honestly go down even further at the beginning of the third, but would use a 10-0 run over an 85-second span to go up 77-76. That was, to me, that was pivotal in getting them to reestablish some sort of rhythm, because this game could have gotten out of hand and they were able to kind of reel it back. This was honestly such a back and forth affair, man. Neither team would budge, honestly. But one thing that was said during the broadcast that I heavily agree with is that Donovan Mitchell is the great equalizer. He's just capable of putting a team on his back, and by virtue of that, over the top most nights. And they really needed him, as Cleveland had to not only battle these 76ers, but the fucking refs as well. And speaking of the refs, why was Cam Payne getting calls like this? Dude was prime Jordan. It was very frustrating. By no means did he lead the whole game in fouls drawn. That was actually Donovan Mitchell himself. But some of the calls, they were just frustrating as hell. They entered the fourth with a lead of 92-91. This was destined to go down to the wire with how it was being played and officiated, as Philly would end up outscoring Cleveland in the fourth and final frame. And while the box score says that Philly outdid the Cavs 32-29, what it doesn't do on the surface is tell you just how lopsided it was at one point. It really was. Seriously, the Cavs were down 120-110 with just 125 left to play and very nearly managed to overcome that 10-point deficit. They had a shot to win it too, as they got the final possession with about 7 seconds left in the game. Donovan Mitchell would try his hand and fail after Paul Reed packed his shot up, but Spider would get his own rebound and then kicked it out to Darius Garland for another potential game winner, which he would clank off the right side of the rim. A rough way to end a 9-game winning streak, but nothing truly to be discouraged about. I get it. They lost to an Embiid-less 76ers team. But again, this is a very, very competitive and very capable team, especially after the move for Buddy Hield. This drops the Cavs to 17-2 over the course of their last 19 games. And if you are on social media, you're probably seeing that the sky is absolutely falling in Cleveland right now. Obviously, we know that is not the case. The Cavs have won 9 of their last 10 games, and they're about to head in. They have 1 game left before the break, I believe, against Chicago. And then, they get to kind of pull things back together, reel it together, and get healthy, right? They've been healthy. They got Evan Mobley, they got Darius Garland back, but they truly get to kind of just take a breather and relax. And it'll also be fun to see the likes of Donovan Mitchell in both the All-Star game and the 3-point competition. But this loss was nothing to really be truly discouraged about. Spider scored 36. He dished out 6 assists. Jarrett Allen finished with another double-double. He had 21 points. Darius Garland in particular, we'll talk about him for just a second. He also scored 21 points. He dished out 9 assists and 0 turnovers. A big asking, just a big talking point about Darius Garland this season has been the indecisiveness with the basketball at times and just the clumsy nature and carelessness with the basketball this year. And while we know that he was dealing with a hand injury even prior to that broken jaw, you could clearly tell that Darius Garland was not his usual self, and that was evident. Now, coming back from this jaw injury, still things have been a little bit shaky in regards to decision making and carelessness with the basketball. But overall, I've been seeing DG start to look more and more like himself. He has started to resemble the all-star caliber talent that we have seen him be in seasons past, right? He'll do it. And I thought tonight, all things considered, was a very solid showing for him. 0 turnovers, 9 assists, 21 points on the night. And the only reason that people are shitting on him is the missed game winner. I just do not understand it. Like, what standards should we be holding this man to? Because honestly, Donovan Mitchell had an opportunity to win the game, and he missed his as well. His shot actually got blocked. Now, here's the thing. I get it. Darius Garland may not be viewed as a clutch player, but you take that shot 9 times, 100 times out of 100 times, especially considering there was 2 seconds left on the clock. What do you want the dude to do? I just do not understand it. I seriously don't. But it is good to see DG look more and more like the player that we all know that he is capable of. And tonight was a step closer to that, despite the Cavs losing this game. And that's why I'm not discouraged. We are starting to see them put it together little by little. If there's one thing that I question from tonight's game, is probably just the fact that Sam Merrill did not get much run in this one, right? Little over 9 minutes, and 9 minutes and 17 seconds to be exact, and just 1 field goal attempt. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, you probably could have pulled from Strus's minutes. And although Strus only played 29 minutes, he was productive himself out there. 10 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and some pretty solid defense at times. And so where else are those minutes going to come from? Because Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are also playing quite well. Isaac Okoro's defense is definitely needed out there. And Caris LeVert, for what it's worth, you have to have him out there, especially if you're not going to have a true backup point guard. And I know that the whole thing is why don't we stagger the minutes of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell so that you have 1 point guard on the floor at all times. And the Cavs have been doing that a lot lately, but you're not going to pull minutes from Caris LeVert 9 times out of 10 to give them to Sam Merrill. And so I don't know. It is a JB issue, right? Not something for me to ponder, but I saw a lot of people suggesting that Sam Merrill probably should have been given more run, especially down the stretch of that game. And I do not disagree, to be honest. I wish that we could have gotten him a couple more opportunities to be out there, especially considering he only took one field goal attempt and you're down and you're trying to get some perimeter shooting on a night where the Cavs just, it's not like they shot it poorly, but they didn't shoot it great either. On the night, they finished 47.8% from the field and 35.1% from three-point distance. But good golly, the Sixers, on the other hand, 54.5% from the field, including a scorching 42.3% from three-point distance. And my God, they were just hitting everything. And this is an uncharacteristic game. I feel like they would have beaten whoever they matched up with the way that they were shooting tonight. There are definitely some defensive lapses tonight on the Cavs, and there's some lackadaisical defense and lackadaisical effort at times. But there was some really good shot making too in this one. It's not every game that you're going to see Buddy Hield go 9 of 13 from the field and drop 5 of 8 triples. And we know Buddy Hield is an awesome shooter. He's a great talent. It was a great pickup for them. But can we talk about the fact that Kelly Oubre Jr. also torched the Cavs to the tune of 24 points himself and was 10 of 14 from the field? That was another one that really sunk the Cavs. And then really, if you're going to allow three separate players to score 20 or more points, you're probably not going to win the game, especially if they're shooting above 50% from the field. It's just not your day. And that third player was Tyrese Maxey, who scored 22 points, dished out 9 assists, and was 9 of 21 from the field. And when this happens, this type of thing happens, you're probably going to end up losing. And so I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm not going to be pissed. It does suck. It's a win that the Cavs probably should have been able to get, but you can't win them all. You can't win them all, and the loss was eventually going to come. And now that we got it out of the way, hopefully we can go ahead and head into the break with a win against Chicago and just call it a day and head into that All-Star break and get refreshed before the home stretch, right? Before the playoffs begin. And for me, I'm going to be looking forward to a couple of different things in that second half. But one of the more interesting things I think for me that I'm going to be taking a look at is what the rotation will look like as the season kind of whittles its way down. Now, the one thing that, people probably got to get a good taste of tonight was the fact that Dean Wade was not out there. Dean Wade did not play due to, I believe, was it sickness, pneumonia maybe? I don't know. I need to go back and check. But he was out tonight, and his absence was truly felt. For anybody who is not a believer in Dean Wade, this is a perfect example. This game where Kelly Oubre is torching us, where Tyrese Maxey and company, Buddy Hield, they're out there just shooting the lights out. This is a game in which Dean Wade is missed. Really is. And he's not a guy who's going to score a ton of points, but man, he plays some of the best damn defense that this team has at his disposal, especially out on the perimeter, where he's not as, I wouldn't put him up there with Okoro, but he's been damn good. He has been damn good, and we know that he can space the floor as well. And he was a key reason why the Cavs were able to not only survive but thrive in the absence of Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. He was really, really key to that stretch run without those two out there. And that is due to, one, his ability to play some very solid defense, but two, space the floor. And the Cavs could have used him tonight, especially in a night where Georges Niang just didn't have it going. In his 18 minutes, he went scoreless, 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 from three-point distance. He did pull down 5 boards, but in a night where Niang just isn't providing as much as you would like him to, Dean Wade definitely could have helped in this game. I do not feel like the Cavs lose this game if they had Dean Wade out there. And no, that is not an excuse because Philly, again, they don't have Embiid, right? If they play the way that they did tonight and Embiid is out there, they probably obliterate the Cavs with the way that this one went. And I wouldn't be mad at them for it because they just played the better game. Cavs, for most of the game, this was a back and forth affair. But at the end of the day, it is a make or miss league, and the Cavs just did not make enough shots down the stretch, and the Sixers did, right? They were able to do that. and props to them for that. And that's all that I'm chalking this loss up to. It's not some really big like statement that the Cavs are not a playoff contender or a title contender, or that they don't belong in the upper echelon of the East, or the NBA for that matter. No, I do not take any of those things away from this game. I'm just chalking this up to a game in which the Cavs just stumbled from a defensive standpoint and a wildly good shooting night from their opponent. That's all I'm chalking this up to. Could there have been things that could have gone better in this one? Sure. JB probably could have played Merrill more, probably could have played Niang and Strus a little less, but who am I to judge considering shit has been working for basically the last 20 plus games or so? Again, I repeat, the Cavs are 17-2. They have lost 2 fucking games in their last 19. They're going to lose. It'll happen. Got to get over it. You regroup, you reevaluate things, and you just move on to the next game. And that's all that this boils down to. I really and truly hope people are not discouraged after seeing Darius Garland miss that game winner, but I know that they're going to take that and run with it. It's just par for the course. And for me, I'm taking it one game at a time. If you are watching this team and you're swayed one way or another from game to game, how can you really enjoy what you're watching? Because it's all about the process. It is all about the journey with this team. And I think that every bit of adversity that they have faced has made them a better, deeper, and more well-rounded team. And this loss will do much the same. It should continue to light a fire under them every time they have one where they almost fight their way back only to lose. That's going to sting. That's good, though, because that can fuel you for the next matchup. Now, Cleveland, if I am not mistaken, they will see Philly 2 more times this season. And hopefully the next time that they do meet, they will have everybody healthy, right? Hopefully Embiid's out there and they have a couple of their guys back, and Cleveland is at full strength too, because I would love nothing more than to see both of these teams face each other at full strength, because in that first matchup, Donovan Mitchell wasn't out there. In this matchup, Embiid's not out there. And so they haven't had a situation in which they have played each other at full strength. Now, make no mistake, these two teams could meet in the postseason if things shake out a certain way, but time will tell. And that's probably where we can leave it at tonight. I'm not overly concerned. I'm not, going to start sounding the alarms after one loss. It happens. It is what it is. And with that being said, if you'd like to reach out to me, you know how you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you would like to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of 70 review to itscavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. That said, go Cavs. Have a good one.